Sola Scriptura makes every man his own pope. Yeah.
That's this again. That's another script that I keep hearing over and over and over again, and that's simply not true. I mean, the Protestantism historically never believed that every man just becomes his own pope. We do believe in the authority of the church, but that authority is under the authority of God. The police have authority, the courts have authority, government has authority. I mean, David, you and I are fathers, and we have authority over our families and over our children. But Sola Scriptura does not mean me and a Bible under a cherry tree and just reading my own Bible and creating my own church. That is never.
Remember this claim, because he contradicts himself later. He contradicts this too. He says,
well, but this whole approach, and I'm sorry, Tony Costa is making a lot of low-tier Protestant arguments here, right? I talk about from a script, right? So someone gives a characterization. Sola Scriptura makes every man his own pope, okay? And his immediate objection is, that's not ever how we've seen ourselves. Like, what?
Right.
Like, if I come and say, you're a thief, are you going to respond with, I've never seen myself as a thief?
Yeah. I've never seen myself as an apostate, you know?
I didn't ask whether you identify as your own pope. I asked, I mean, an assertion that in essence, you have become your own pope, right?
Right.
Like,
Lord have mercy. Yeah, I mean, it's absurd, but he will literally contradict himself like in less than an hour. He says something like, I'll wait till we get to that part because we will get to it. But he says, oh, it's not just me and my Bible under the tree. And then later he says, you just need to read the Bible, and it's like clear, like you don't need anything to interpret it. It's just like you read it and you understand it automatically. Like, okay.
Right. Well, and this whole thing with secondary authority, they always say that. Well, no, there's other secondary authorities. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about real life. Let's not talk about what you say on paper. Okay. Something either has authority or it doesn't. Okay. So are you going to say William Lane Craig isn't a Christian because he doesn't believe in the Nicene Creed?
Right.
Right. Every heretic in the history of the church has made arguments based on Scripture. Every one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can't just say, we're going to use Scripture to decide what is heresy and what isn't. Right. So someone has to hear both cases. One side makes a case from Scripture, the other side makes a case from Scripture. Someone has to hear those two cases and make a decision about which is right. Okay. So if you're Roman Catholic, you believe ultimately final appeals, right? That's the Pope. Pope hasn't ruled on everything, obviously. But if it gets to the point where it needs a ruling, a Roman Catholic would say, that's the Pope. Okay. For Protestants who believe in the right of private judgment, and this is not me making this up or accusing them of this, right? Read the Prolegomena to Hodge's systematic theology. They say this. Ultimately, the only thing an individual believer's conscience can be bound to is the words of Scripture and what they can be logically convinced by inference from those Scriptures, meaning the final court of appeal to hear the two cases and decide which is right is the individual human conscience. So what Roman Catholicism attributes to the Pope, to the Bishop of Rome, Protestantism, Sola Scriptura, as traditionally understood by Protestants, attributes to the individual believer. So that super chat is a true statement. Doesn't matter how you identify. It doesn't matter whether Tony Costa likes it being expressed that way, right? It is the fact of the matter. For the Orthodox Church, it is the collective hierarchs of the church, i.e. the councils, that are the ultimate court of appeal, right? That hears Arius make his case and the St. Athanasius's case and decides which one is heresy and which one is true, right?
Right. Absolutely.